No, right? It could crash tomorrow.
It could crash 80% tomorrow. It's done it several times. I noticed that over Thanksgiving, Mike Novogratz tweeted that he was like, he was thankful for a number of things, the Macy's Day Parade and the move in Ethereum. So he was sure to give that thanks. And as you noted, like his targets, they're basically almost already here.
Right. I mean, and we've seen more retail investors. It's not just guys like Mike Novogratz who are talking about it. It seems like everyone is talking about it. It seems like we're pretty much already at taxi driver level, right, where your cab driver is recommending it to you.
I kind of think that this is like the backwards, or sort of most bubbles start with like something that Wall Street people get into, and then they fan out into the world, and next thing you know, and of course there's that famous scene in The Big Short where Steve Eisman hears about a stripper buying and selling houses, like, oh, it's a bubble. Here it's like going in the exact opposite direction. So there's tons of people out in the real world who have bought cryptocurrencies, and guys like Mike Novogratz are still relatively rare, and they're like the one, in the new thing, they'd be like the stripper.
But that's the scary thing. I mean, should people be going around screaming at people, to get out of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies if they're indeed in them?
Well, no, I mean, probably not. But it is, there is an evangelicism about this. We've talked about this before. It's sort of like this religious fervor. It's like people get into them, and then they just like hound their friends and families. You should buy them too. And that's probably what happened over Thanksgiving. It's like some student comes back from college and talks about all the money he's made, and then hounds their uncle and their parents. And then we see there was like several 100,000 Coinbase signups over the weekend. So it's like
1,000?
I think it was several hundred. I think it was like 300,000 or something. Well, whatever. It's still
only
a lot.
300,000.
And so it's like there's like this evangelical thing where everyone's trying to get more people into it.
Now, you've looked a lot at history of other bubbles, right? So you say this one is different because it's almost crowdsourced. It's very like for the social media age. But do the bubbles always pop? Do they always sort of end the same way?
No, they don't always end the same way, but they always end, and they always end painfully. But the important thing to recognize is that it's just really difficult to call the top of them. And so you see these signs here and there. You're like, oh, someone said this. My taxi driver just said this. And that must be the top, and then it could go up another 50%. I mean, think back to .com. Like, there were signs in 1998 of people losing their minds over it, and then it went on for another 2 years. So while they do ultimately end in tears, it's just super hard to know when you're going to be the one holding the bag.
Are we sure this is going to end in tears, or are there going to be a lot of us with egg on our faces saying, I was wrong?
I mean, there's going to be a lot of people ending in tears either way, right? Like, I don't know, but...
On one side or the other.
Yeah, on one side or the other, because they're never, but I don't, the future is tough to tell.
It's also tough to tell whether Wall Street will get a little bit more deeply into it. It seems like once it becomes more institutionalized that they could.
What would be the level at which, we would need to take it seriously, if any?
Well, it's interesting because we're talking all the time about it, and every day there's like new stories about it, new things about people, and it's fairly small as a thing. Like, I think I saw that the total value of all Bitcoin is somewhere around the level of GE. So it's like we don't talk about GE every day, and even if there was a stock that was going up as fast as Bitcoin, we wouldn't talk about it every day. It's partly the size aside and even speed of the acceleration aside. It's just the newness and the unfamiliarity that I think drives a lot of the conversation.